This video is not really prepared like the last one was, because this is a really short take on something. It's more like an opinion vlog and not really an update on Trickster itself, because it concludes to many more changes from the past few weeks. But Behavior has made public a few days ago that there is a community driven or creator driven or bot driven, how do they call it, consultant program. When I first read about this, I thought this was fairly new. And I was like, okay, this is new, this looks like a good step in the right direction. People actually checking on what's coming to the game, what's happening in the game, what the next few updates will be. And honestly, I was like, yeah, sounds good. I take that. That's maybe in place now for 3-4 months. They tried to build that up first and then made it public, and I'm good with that. And then I found a post on the forums, and I want to give you a few thoughts about this one. Let me show you my desktop. This is a post from Peanuts, so community manager. That's an official Behavior response, and I want to focus on 2 or 3 points here. First of all, this program is not new. It has existed since shortly after the game's release, which means that on many, not all, but at least many decisions that were made ever since the game was released, a part of the community has been asked and they provided their opinions on upcoming changes. And I have a question now, because if always there was a way to ask experienced players how future changes might or might not be received well, how did changes like the Unreal rework, the Trickster rework, the first Hillbilly rework, how did all these go through? I mean, there can be some bugs in the games. Dead by Daylight was never built to be a game as big as it is now. They said it once in a dev interview. They were like interested in having 5-6 unique killers and maybe a few more survivors, and that's it. It was never meant to be that big. And I understand that the base was not built for that because they never considered being that big, and that there are now some issues that can occur. Be my guest. Night bugs, Skull Merchant bugs, Trickster bugs. Okay, sure. We don't include bugs that made it through all the testing. That doesn't trigger me now. The base fact that decisions on reworks might or might not have been tested or given feedback from parts of the community that claim to know the game or should know the game according to Behavior makes me a little bit sad. Because whoever tested Trickster, and I specifically go for the Trickster example now because that is where I have the most knowledge on. I can't comment on Billy changes because I have honestly no idea how Billy is played on a high professional level or on an enthusiast level, because I play Billy 2 times a year. So I won't comment on the Billy rework, but I know many people were not happy about it, and that the new one is now basically back to somewhere where the old one was. Maybe even a little bit better here and there. Let's take the Trickster thingy as an example. Consultants are asked for opinions, let me mark that, on upcoming changes and invited to closed playtests where they can give feedback. Let's say Behavior addressed one person with the Trickster rework suggestion on the PDB. 4 knives per second throw speed, 8 knives main event, whatever, shoot me, the whole pack. Only 6 knives for main event, whatever. So there are now, I guess, 4 possible outcomes how this could have turned out. Option A, the person agreed on the fact that the rework, as it was suggested by Behavior, would be good. That makes Behavior picking people that have no idea about Trickster, I guess, for the feedback. But that's a different story. But then at least, okay, the program works, they listen to it, and that would be good. That would not be good for the tester that tested Trickster, because obviously the person has no idea what makes Trickster fun for like most people that play Trickster. And it's a very small community. We somehow know each other, mostly. Option B. That person knows about Trickster and disagreed on the feedback and said, okay, this is a terrible change, but Behavior still went through with it, or with a somewhat weakened version of it. But then again, this program doesn't have a reason for existence, because then they wouldn't listen to the feedback. Option C, that person that tested the Trickster changes deliberately sabotaged the rework because they dislike Trickster. There are many people out there, as I shown in my last video, that actually hate Trickster. from the bottom of their heart, because they think it's not a killer that should be in the game. Because it's an easier huntress, even though it needs a lot more skill to actually nail those knives and trickster than it needs to nail a hatchet and huntress. But hey, different story. Would mean that that person deliberately sabotaged it, and therefore this program is not as valuable as behavior wants us to believe it is. And the last option is that nobody tested this. So the reason of the program to test rework stuff is basically also non-existent. But with this program existing, and let me tell you, I worked in the industry and I worked on a similar project. I can't tell you which exactly, obviously, but I know programs like this. I know that this is a big deal for companies. They can give you so much insight, but you need also to listen to them, and you need your own people that understand what you're testing, what you're doing, what the game is about. If you don't have these people around in your company to accept that feedback and work with it, it doesn't help you. So releasing that information, that this program is a thing, and even shortly after the game has been released, makes so many decisions and so many changes, behavior implemented in the past few years so much worse. Because it shows that this program doesn't fulfill the things that they respectfully want to achieve with that. Knowing about this program and knowing about all these changes, we have two scenarios for each. Either these changes are still terrible, but were not as terrible as the first iteration behavior had made on these changes, which means behavior themselves would have absolutely no idea what they're talking about on their own game. Or the second one is they simply don't listen to feedback, or not to the extent they should to. Actually, there's a third one, that they invited the wrong people for this program. But I can't judge on that because I only know one person from this program, that's Hans, and I'm fairly sure that Hans is very valuable in that regard. And I don't want to shame anybody I don't know, even though that would be the easiest. Having this program in place and communicating that now makes all of the past decisions even more questionable. I'm not sure if that was a good idea to make that public. So yeah, can we improve that situation somehow? Is there any way we can improve that situation? I doubt it, because there's no application process, which is good because you want hand-picked people, and also consultants do not need to be content creators. Some are, while others are not. And that is good because there are content creators out there, not many, but still a decent handful, that would absolutely abuse it. 100%. Being selected as a consultant is not simply a reward for being a die-hard fan, which is also very good. They are paid contractors that have responsibilities, which is also good, yeah. All they write here is the base thing that you expect from something like this, and if they all meet this stuff, then I have no complaints about the program on paper. Inactive consultants would be kicked out, it seems, so other people could participate, so they have a handful of feedback loops going on. It's a consultant's duty to give feedback on changes that are presented to them, so it seems like they can't even select what they are working on, but they get a list of changes or a certain change presented, and then they need to explain if that's good, bad, whatever. But then there's the point where I start to have problems again. Consultant feedback. Let me pick that. Consultant feedback is used to make informed decisions. It's not the sole deciding factor. Well, the last part, okay, fair, it's okay. Yeah, of course, you can't only listen to these consultants. But at the same time, we need to keep in mind that consultants are highly experienced players and that their impressions may not always align with the wider community, though they do often. That sentence is phrased in a way only corporate would phrase it. It basically says nothing and everything at the same time. Mostly nothing though. Because if most of the time that's aligned with the wider community feedback, why don't you make it more powerful in your process? Different story. Consultants do not come up with balance changes and are not responsible for how things turn out. Yeah, obviously. Please never hate any of the consultants. Don't turn on Hans, don't turn on anybody else that maybe come forward and says, hey, I'm a consultant. I'm not, by the way. But still, it falls on us to decide what needs to be acted upon. And consultants are not Q&A. which is very important. I know stories that this happened there on a similar program. It's not the responsibility to test the game and find bugs. Yeah, absolutely. And of course, you need to be able to do certain things to be considered to be part of the program. So, listening to all that, we on our end seem to be completely powerless about changes to this or changes on the game. And honestly, I might consider that even with all the videos happened on the Trickster change, they have no effect at all, because if they ask the consultant, hey, we saw this video from Gorbo or even Odds or myself, and the tester on Trickster said, nah, Trickster's fine, don't worry about it, how would behavior decide? I'm worrying about this. Because, let me show you. This is a very rare insight of my YouTube studio. I usually don't show these. My video got a huge amount of views again compared to my other stuff again. That's also why I currently stopped producing daily content and will rethink how my channel will work in the future. But this has a lot of impact compared to my other videos, and it was seen by a lot of people. And I really appreciate that. But Odd Star Wars channel here, Trickster mains are not happy. 5 months ago, 300,000 views. 5 months ago and nothing was changed. And now? And here we have a video from Gorbo. When I watched this 4 days ago when it was released, it had like 15 views and 2 likes, and he had 60 subscribers. He's now at 380, sorry. 24,000 views, 1,200 likes, and he made a really good video about how the Trickster rework was made terrible. It's a different approach from my video, so please check that out as well. I will link it below probably. But yeah, in this case it's just not stopping and giving us new content, new things to discuss, and with that program in place, I'm honestly not sure if I should expect something good to happen on Trickster. But I'm ready for behavior to prove me wrong. Alright, thanks for watching. If you want to support me, please feel free to do that on Ko-Fi. Would really appreciate that. Or also subscribe to my Twitch channel. Follow me there obviously as well. And also follow me here on YouTube, would really appreciate that. And also please leave a like. And also your opinion in the comments, would really appreciate that as well. Okay, thanks for watching. Have a good day and see you around in the next one.